Over the past 5 or 10 years, English wine has surged in popularity. I've come to Ridgeview Wine Estate in West Sussex to meet my good friend Brandon Barnum to understand why it's grown so popular, what's unique about it, and what it tastes like. Good to see you again. Thank you so much for having me at Ridgeview. It's great to be back. I guess the reason I wanted to come here today and speak to you was just over the last sort of 5 or 10 years, I've really enjoyed seeing the popularity of English wine increase. Obviously, your story here at Ridgeview is a major part of that, and I've loved the different wines that you've brought out over the last few years. So I guess why is it suddenly so popular?
For sure. I think there's a number of reasons, but the main reason is probably due to the climate. So we've had, obviously, as a result of global warming, it's brought in certain grape varieties into the UK that we're now able to grow, which has put kind of England on the map. I think also being involved in a series of international competitions, which has kind of raised the level and highlighted the success of the UK and what we're capable of achieving in the UK. I think coupled with also increased investment from overseas, so we've had likes of top champagne producers invest in land over here, and a number of other sort of agricultural farms, etc., converting land into vines.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I think those three reasons really: climate, awards, and investment. I think overall.
Main reasons. So you've sort of alluded to the sort of varieties that are now available here that perhaps weren't available a few decades ago. What are those varieties? What are the different styles of wine that we're now able to produce in the UK?
Of course. So predominantly we're talking about the kind of three noble grape varieties that are grown over in Champagne. So Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier. So those are kind of occupying the majority of plantings in the UK.
Yeah.
So therefore the main focus in the UK at the moment, around about 70% of the total production is sparkling,
Okay.
and mainly focusing on kind of traditional methods. So the same method as Champagne.
Wow.
There's also some other interesting German varietals such as Bacchus that are doing a really good job. But I think largely the focus is around those kind of key Champagne grape varieties, which I think has obviously led to a lot of the Champagne houses tapping into the English wine industry.
Great. And do you think this will continue? Is the growth still progressing?
Yeah, I think so. I think projected growth is well on its way. I think 2040 we're looking to double production in the UK. There will be an increased focus on still wine production as well as sparkling, and there's also quite a lot of other innovation-led projects going on in the industry. But yeah, there's a lot more vineyards being planted year by year. So I think 2019 alone there was 3 million vines that were planted in the UK.
Wow.
I think this year has slowed a little bit as a result of the current climate, but I think projections are well on their way to really increasing and ramping up production. So.
And what makes English wine so unique?
So I think a lot of it's as a result of the climate. So we have a very cool climate in the UK, characterised by this really long growing season. So essentially the grapes have this extra chance to develop extra qualities and characteristics as a result of that long growing season. So the fruits has a longer time that it spends on the vine before it's harvested, and therefore the resulting wines end up being kind of showcase this unique freshness and fruit forwardness. So the longer time, that longer ripening window, taking on extra fruit forwardness and qualities and characteristics. So the backbone of English wine is acidity, this kind of pure freshness, characterised by this kind of really powerful fruit profile. So unique freshness and kind of intensity of fruit is kind of what characterises English wine as a category.
Well, I think we want to try some, really.
Let's get it done. I'm up for it.
So we've got a white, a red, and a sparkling. We'll save the sparkling till last, 'cause I know that's the one that you're going to enjoy talking about the most. If we start with the Chapeldown, then, so we've got a Bacchus from Chapeldown. I know you mentioned it earlier, but I've never heard of Bacchus. So what is it?
So Bacchus is it's an interesting varietal. It's been around in the UK for quite some time, and actually I think it's the fourth most planted grape after the three sort of classic varietals that we spoke about, so Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier. But Bacchus is a really interesting grape, yields really nicely in the UK, so it's quite reliable to grow. So overall, the typical yields year to year are quite consistent. It's quite sort of pest or disease resistant, if you like.
Yeah.
But the varietal itself is quite an expressive or aromatic grape.
Yeah.
So a lot of people kind of compare Bacchus as being the kind of the English kind of version of Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
So it kind of has all those kind of classic tropical qualities that you'd associate with Sauvignon Blanc. So, you know, whether that's like passion fruit, or, you know, even moving into sort of elderflower notes, all those real kind of ripe tropical qualities that you get with classic Sauvignon, really. And give it a little go.
So what are we tasting?
Cool. So I think it's pretty typical of kind of Bacchus in the UK, and you know, kind of represents the best possible example, really.
Yeah.
So you get all of those kind of classic tropical kind of aromatic qualities that you get from Bacchus. It's super clean, it's very fresh.
Yeah. High acidity, isn't it? It's nice.
Super high acidity, and it's just super approachable. So yeah, I mean it's an incredibly sessionable wine. If you
Yeah,
like.
nice.
But
Yeah. Great. And what, have it light food, seafoods?
Yeah, anything like that. Anything so you would squeeze lemon on. You know, anything with maybe some high fat content, like sort of greasy batter.
Yeah.
So that nice acidity can cut through quite well there. Yeah, I think that. But yeah, or if you wanted to drink it on its own, it's also, you know, held itself very nicely, and yeah, it's got
Nice.
the capability to stand on its own 2 feet. So
if you're a Sauvignon fan,
yeah,
or New Zealand
sure.
Sauvignon fan, this is quite a nice sort of segue into English wine, you think?
Definitely. And
Nice.
I think, you know, also just a good introduction to English wine. So for people that might not have had the opportunity to taste English wine, I think it kind of provides a really decent backbone of what we can do in the UK.
And it's a more sort of affordable than some of the English sort of wines out there. So I'll link all of the sort of costs and where I got everything from, but they're all pretty easy to get hold of, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, great. Okay.
Fantastic.
Should we move on to the next one?
Let's get it done.
So Pinot Noir, we think.
Bit of Pinot Noir. So
This is from Bolney, isn't it? So this is literally, well, 10 minutes from here. These are all pretty local, aren't they? They're all pretty local to
just
here.
around the corner, yeah. So good old Bolney. So I think they're another, you know, small family-run business, focusing on both still and sparkling. So this is their Pinot Noir.
Very pale, isn't it?
Looking very pale. It's looking good. So yeah, I think with Pinot Noir in the UK, Pinot Noir is actually the most planted grape variety in the entirety of the UK. So I think it's something like 28% of all plantings of Pinot Noir. But as a style, it's predominantly used for sparkling winemaking, but in still wine, it is capable in good years of producing some pretty decent red wines as well, as we can see with this.
But it's a bit, Pinot Noir can be a bit hit and miss, can't it, in terms of it's quite a sensitive grape, isn't it? It's got to have the right conditions.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's as a variety, it is pretty challenging to grow year to year.
Yep.
It's prone to lots of rot and disease, and so the resulting styles of wine can be quite inconsistent.
Yeah.
But I think overall, the quality is definitely improving on the reds, and I think with as a result of global warming again and the extra sunshine we receive, we're actually capable of ripening the grape for a red wine now.
Nice.
So
okay.
Right,
should we try it?
So super light, medium kind of body, and it kind of displays all those kind of classic Pinot characteristics. So good acidity, kind of full of sort of red cherry, red fruit qualities. You also get all of that kind of earthiness coming through, which is quite typical of Pinot Noir. But this is a really good example, and really well made.
Right, I know you've been dying to talk about it. Shall we have a look at Ridgeview?
Let's have a little taste. Why not?
Shall we? Well, you tell us a
honours?
story while I
Fantastic.
go about
Great.
butchering the opening of this bottle.
Fantastic. So I think overall, as we've spoken about, previously, obviously sparkling wine in the UK is the main focus.
Yeah.
Ridgeview is a producer focused exclusively on sparkling production.
Yeah.
So traditional method using the classic Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier. And really, it's a small family-run business, started back in 1995, so very much at the forefront or the start of the kind of English wine movement or sparkling wine scene. And we've seen the category evolve over that 25-year kind of window, really, and production and popularity has gone from strength to strength. And as previously highlighted, that's kind of been achieved by a number of awards that we've managed to achieve over our time, and we've been fortunate to pick up some pretty decent stuff.
So this is the Bloomsbury, isn't it?
Yes, so Bloomsbury is sort of our classic introduction to what we do.
Yeah.
And again, for those people that haven't had the opportunity to taste English sparkling, this is a very good introduction to what can be achieved in the UK.
Yeah.
So focusing more on the Chardonnay grapes, so 2/3 of the blend Chardonnay, the other third Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about sort of what makes the English wine scene so unique, we're talking about acidity and we're talking about kind of fruit forwardness and that kind of pronounced fruit quality. And I think this wine kind of captures and harnesses that all in its kind of own way, and really expresses that. So I think it's a really good introduction to sparkling and what we can do in the UK.
Unless I'm drinking while you're spitting out. Someone's more sensible than I am.
So
Nice,
the
yeah, I
idea,
love
so
it.
super clean, very fresh. You've got that really clean, fresh acidity, and then you've got those kind of classic citrus,
Yeah.
kind of green orchard fruit qualities with a gentle kind of honey note going throughout. This is traditional method, so same method as champagne.
Yeah.
Kind of classic style, really. So,
And if you were introducing people to your range, this is the one you generally start with.
yeah, I think so. I think it's the wine that's sort of the most popular from our range, most widely available. And it's kind of like our core signature wine, first one we ever produced. It's a great introduction to English wine and Ridgeview, the house style that we like to make. So
Great. So 3 really, really nice examples really of what English wine's all about. I would definitely recommend people going out and trying these if they can. I guess just before we sort of finish off, have you got any sort of final remarks about English wine?
for sure, yeah, I think English wine, is a super exciting category. It's one of the kind of hottest, kind of trending categories, if you like. Witnessing growth year on year, and I think they're becoming more and more popular and widely available. I think some of the sort of higher price wines definitely have their place in the market, but there's definitely wines that are becoming a bit more entry level price point onto the market, which
That's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think it's going to become a little bit more accessible to consumers. I think the likes of Waitrose have supported the category tremendously. So they've got,
I picked up all of these at Waitrose.
Waitrose,
So
exactly.
yeah.
So they've got over 100 wines on their book, and they're a great sort of starting point, if you like, into kind of discovering various different styles. But yeah, sparkling's definitely kind of really taken off, and the stills are definitely becoming more and more online. But and there's some really interesting, exciting developments happening in the industry. It's fast changing. There's a lot of investment. So there'll be some, various kind of innovative products coming onto the market.
Yourselves at the front of that.
Yeah, there's a bit of MPD on the horizon, and we've just released a new Oak Reserve as well. So, and that's been really, really well received. But
That looks great.
Likes of like wine in can as well. That's hitting the market and various other formats. So, it's a really exciting industry. So grab a glass and get involved, basically.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for your time.
Cool. Not at all. Thank you very
See you
much,
again soon.
Chris. Yeah, take it easy.